Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Plugin Roundup here on iThemes Training. It is June 2023. My name is Nathan Ingram, and I'm the host here at iThemes Training, and each month we take a look across all the things that have been added to or newly updated in the WordPress plugin directory, and we bring you a list of a dozen or so plugins that caught our attention. If you're just joining us in Zoom, pop open the chat, say hello, tell us where you're logging in from today. And you will find in the chat right now a list of the link to the plugin list, which I am just about to drag upon my screen right there. And if you're watching this on the replay, just click the download handout button below the video and you'll see this. We always like to remind you that these are plugins that we looked at and thought were interesting. Okay, we've not spent hours of time evaluating the how great the code is, or if there's accessibility issues or anything like that. We have not thoroughly tested these plugins. That's your job as the WordPress professional. But yeah, we think these are kind of interesting. So let's get started, shall we? We're going to start out with a couple of AI plugins. AI continues to be a thing. As I was looking across the latest plugins that were updated this month, there is such a huge percentage of them that are AI related, as you can imagine. AI is everything these days. And we featured several AI plugins. And we're still waiting, by the way, on Cadence AI. If you haven't seen that yet, take a look at this link, which is right there in your handout. There's a really cool landing page for Cadence AI where you can join the wait list and see just how amazing Cadence AI is going to be. I mean, look at this, where it just drops in, into the existing content. It's going to be super cool. We will certainly have a training about that when it comes out. But until then, we'll take a look at the plugins that have been added to the WordPress directory that are AI featured. So let's start out with this one, which is called WP Wand Unlimited AI Content Generator. Now, both of the AI plugins that we're going to talk about today, yes, they are unlimited in the sense that you must connect to OpenAI yourself. So you'll go to openai.com, create an account, add some billing information, and get an API key. That's how the plugin is going to talk back and forth to the OpenAI AI. And you pay for that, right? So it's a metered usage, but it is super cheap. Like 1,000 words is about 1 cent for it to generate. So this is just crazy cheap, right? So in other words, you could generate 50 blog posts of 2,000 words each for $1. Okay, so it's super cheap. This is not something that should hold you back from trying these. So let me drag over our site here and let's get started here with WP Wand Unlimited AI. So scrolling. Right there it is, WP Wand. Now, right away, what you're going to notice is something super annoying. And also, before I go any further, I have neglected to start the captions. So pardon me just for a moment while I do that. Sorry about that, y'all. We're going to pause. And momentarily, we will have the captions connected. Sorry about that, y'all. Normally, we do this in the pre-show. And I completely forgot. So it is on me. Just about to get that done. Okay, captions should be working now. Sorry about that, y'all. Okie dokie. So WP Wand. And we have pre-added our API keys here. So you would just scroll down a little below this and paste in your OpenAI key. And there you go. So now we can do some things. Now, the first thing I want you to notice is this really annoying magic wand icon that follows you every single where you go throughout the WordPress dashboard. Surely they're going to address this because that is just unacceptable. Okay. However, the deal itself is pretty cool. So let's just get into a new post and click the wand, right? All right. So what do we want to do? Do we want to, there's 42 total templates. You can do a search through these to find the one that you want. And let's say we just want to make some headline generation. You can even at this point generate a whole blog post. Isn't that cool? Let's just do a blog title here. The detail about our project will be, does Peter Parker have a new girlfriend? And let's get 8 results. The tone will be witty and will generate content. So let's take a look here. It does take a minute. Now, here's the one thing. The big difference between using ChatGPT and using the OpenAI API is time, particularly the next plugin we're going to see. It takes a little while for those things to communicate back and forth. Look at this. Spider-Man's love life takes a turn. These are great headlines. Isn't this great? All right, so Spidey's heart gets caught in a web. I mean, come on, this is great. We can copy these to the clipboard. We could insert them into the editor. I'm just going to copy this one and put it right. Whoops. I don't know why that's not working. Hello. Well, it did not like something. So we're going to try there. All right. So there's our very large fonted headline. It's coming. Oh, it's pre-formatted. That's why it was coming in the post content. All right. So if we go back, we can now go to all templates and let's do a blog outline. Let's just do one result in a witty tone and we'll get a blog outline. Now, this is we're not necessarily going to use this at this moment to generate the content. This is just an exercise to get an outline of what a blog post like this might be. Again, it takes a little time with the API. All right. Title, introduct brief, we can insert that into the editor. And so you get your information. I think I accidentally deleted some stuff. What just happened? Yeah. Oh, it just did this one. So what I'm going to do is just copy all of this. And we can just paste it in here and then use this as sort of a guide to write our post if you want to write it ourselves. Or we can copy this and put it into another prompt to generate a paragraph. So this is one of the ways that AI is working within WordPress. It's a little clunkier. I continue to expect these wizard, the wizard approach to get even better. The next plugin we're going to see has a little better of a wizard, I think, than this one. But it's pretty cool and it does some things. Definitely worth playing around with. The pro version gives you some additional things here, but even the meta title, meta description, meta keywords. There's a lot of things here, that you can look at, many of which are pro. So that is WP1. Any questions or comments about that one? Another example of how developers are starting to leverage the power of OpenAI inside of WordPress. All right. Let's trash that one and go down to our next AI plugin called AI Scribe. Now, literally, there were probably a dozen like this, and we just picked a couple of them. I picked these two because I like the interface of the previous one, WP1, and I like the wizard in this one, although it certainly does have room for improvement, but it's a great example of where AI is going. Let's deactivate this. And I believe, I kept AI Scribe active because when you deactivate it, it wants the API key again. So we're just going to go right on into AI Scribe, and we're going to go right here, generate article. Now, this has more of a wizard approach to it. So let's look for article title ideas. We're going to start there, and let's go again with Peter. All right, let's do it as a question. Does Peter Parker have a girlfriend? Generate. So this one does take a little bit longer than the other one, but it will start to give us some things. And you can notice you can see what the prompt is over here. So it kind of helps you even learn how to get some things from ChatGPT a little better. Right, look here. What do we have here? We didn't change our style and tone. let's make this creative writing tone is funny, witty. Let's do witty and regenerate these, and we'll get a little better results. So you can pick the tone and so forth to match the writing style of your blog, or show your clients how to do this. All right, right here. A little bit different. All right. I like the headlines that the other one came up with a little better, I think, honestly. All right. So what the cool thing about this is we are going to just pick one. We'll just pick this one and hit continue. So it remembers that. Now we're going to identify some keywords. So see how it's stepping you all the way through this. So there's some keywords, and we could generate more. So let's just pick a few of these and keep going. So it's going to use those keywords throughout our content. Kind of cool, right? And again, this is not the where AI is going to end up in WordPress, but it's a great example of where it is today. I think also we can probably get beyond the Microsoft Office clip art logo here for some of these folks. But all right, so here's an article outline. We could generate others or whatever. I'm just going to keep this and continue. Now notice it's updating the prompt with some of this information as we go. So now we're working on the introduction. So I don't like that one. We'll just kind of keep going. Now adding a tagline, we're just going to skip this and move on to the main body. Now this is when it takes a little bit of time. So at this point, it generates the body, and what at the end, depending on how long this takes, we may just move on because we're already 15 minutes into the roundup. But it will allow you at this point to actually push it right into a post with all of this stuff, the title and the body and everything that we've done. So it's pretty cool. This wizard approach I really, really like, as opposed to just generating pieces of a blog post. So what do you think? As you're seeing these things happen, let me hear some feedback from you in the chat. What do you think about this so far? Oh, Stacy, I generated an open AI key and used that same key in WP Wand and in this AI scribe. It's the same API key. It's the, it belongs to, you'd have to create an account with Open API, generate the API key, and then use the API key in both plugins. This is annoying. Yeah, so Eddie's making a good point. Would you get an AI tool that you can use everywhere, or just one that's based in WordPress? And Eddie, I'm with you. I mean, I think we use ChatGPT for code generation and all kinds of things all the time. However, it's not like you can only pick one or the other. This, you're not paying a monthly fee for any of these plugins. If you like the flow of some, then maybe buying the pro version is good, but then you can use the Open API. So I'm going to skip forward to view and publish. Can I do that? No, you have to skip through. Look at that. We have there's all of our stuff there. All right. So you see how this works. It's pretty cool. At the end, it lets you publish it, and then you can actually go back and use the AI to evaluate and enhance and so forth. Elizabeth, the number of words varies the cost from one to the other, but uses the same. Yeah, it's the same API key, and the cost, this cost right here is what you're paying OpenAI for usage of their API key. It's a metered usage of how many words you use. So you can use the same API key, and just two different plugins are using it, but it's the same cost and so forth. So pretty cool. So those are two really nifty AI solutions for WordPress: WP Wand and AI Scribe. Okay, this is a typo. Thanks for pointing that out, Elizabeth. This should say 1,000 words. The cost to use the Open AI API is 1 penny for 1,000 words. This is correct, or approximately 1 penny. Yeah, so ignore this. I missed a 0. That's on me. Okay, pretty cool stuff. Let us move along, shall we? To the next plugin of the roundup. Whoop. Get into a couple of blocks here that are kind of cool. This one is called Master Query Loop. Master Query Loop. Now, I know how powerful the Cadence post block, the Cadence query block is for showing posts. It's fantastic. The Master Query Loop does a couple of cool things too, and you might want to take a look at it if you're not, especially if you're not using Cadence blocks and you're in the block world. But even if you are, you might want to take a look at this because it's kind of cool. Master Query Loop. Let me activate that plugin and move over to our page. I think I deleted what I had there before. Yep, it's empty. Okay, so let's just go to Master Query Loop. There's our block. And okay, so we have a couple of options here. We can choose from predefined patterns, or we can start blank. So let's just start by choosing a predefined pattern. So it's going to take a minute to load these block patterns from some outside whatever. And you get some options here. So this one is, you just kind of pick the one that you want it to look like. There's another one with image and text that way. Here's this. Here's a 3-column. This one's kind of cool. This is a staggered layout. Let's do the staggered layout. So we'll click that and boom, there it is. Now, once that's in, you can go over with the block selected and you can inherit query from a template. So if this is like, for example, if it's an archive page template, you could, it's going to inherit whatever query is attached to that page. Or you can set it right here. What is this going to be? It's going to be posts. How do you want to order those and so forth? So this is pretty basic, pretty cool. And you've got some canned designs. So that's just a checkerboard down the page, which is kind of nice. We could change the post type there as well. Now, another option here, though, is, whoops, delete the right thing. So by the way, this Master Query Loop is actually creating a bunch of different blocks when it's adding something, which is kind of cool. Let's do the start blank. Now from here, you sort of get to pick the way you want this to look. So let's do image, date, and title. Boom. And over here, look at this. We can do specific posts. So this is you can search for posts. So let's just say we want something about Spider-Man or Peter Parker. So let's just search for posts that have to do with Peter. And there they are. And we can keep adding additional posts just like this. So selecting one, so you can customize exactly which posts that you want in the layout, which is kind of cool. Let's see here. There's the ones, and you can delete certain ones or delete them all. You can also turn this into popular posts. If you have something that's tracking views and a meta key, you can turn that on if you want to. You can, again, you could change your post type, and you have all those options here as well. There's some additional filters here about filtering by taxonomy, author, keyword. So here even we can, let's go delete all of these. And let's say we want to just any post that includes the keyword Peter. There it is. But if we add another post, it's going to automatically appear here. So this is a really cool plugin. I like it a lot. Does a lot of things. The Cadence Post plugin is also excellent. This could be an addition to the Cadence plugin if you're using it. So anyway, that is Master Query Loop. Paul, if you keep this layout, do you need to keep the plugin installed? Yeah, you need to keep the plugin installed. It's a block, and it's going to control all those things. Any other questions or comments? Master Query Loop from WP Masterpiece. All right. let us move on to the next plugin, which is a simple one, but potentially very useful in certain situations. It is called Admin Email Change. Now, you probably noticed several versions ago, the WordPress core added a new flow for changing the email address of the admin user. So the reason that happened was people would inadvertently type in the wrong admin email address, like a typo or whatever, or they lost access to that email address, and then they have problems because they didn't have the admin email address set correctly in WordPress. And so core WordPress said, all right, what we're going to do, if you make a change to the admin email, and that's the one here in settings and general, which is here, there's a new flow, and it even says it right here. If you change this, an email will be sent to your new address to confirm it. The address will not become active until you confirm it. So if I change it to something else, the site sends that email account an email. You have to click it, and that validates that, yes, this is the new email address. So it's a good idea. However, there are some times where you may not want to have to go through that process, and that's where this plugin comes into play. Admin email change. We'll activate that. And now looking back at this page, look, we have a change email. Let's see, no. Activate that. Yep. All right, now I'm going to type in Nathan at nathaningram.com. Change email. Admin email has been updated right there. So it didn't have to go through the validation process. With this plugin active, boom, we have a new email. And what I would probably do at that point is then get rid of the plugin. Because in general, I probably want that flow to happen. But there may be cases where you want to change the admin email and you don't want to go through that whole validation process. So this is a great plugin to do that. I forgot to refresh. All right, now I'm back to where I want to be. All right. Vern, you could totally do that in MySQL. Yes. So there you go. It's one of these simple but useful plugins. You probably want to put that in your back pocket. It's a toolbox plugin, but there it is. Admin email change. Very, very simple, but does something important that you may need at some point. So there you go. Admin email change. Any other questions or comments on that one? Stacy's asking, do you get an email to verify? Well, you do with the core WordPress behavior. So WordPress by default does that. This plugin is created to circumvent that process so that you don't have to verify the email. All right. Next one down the list is simple keyword to link. Now, we've done some plugins like this in the past, and this is certainly one of them. And it is helpful to create a dynamic internal linking strategy for your website. So let's just say, for example, you have a site with a lot of technical terms, and maybe there's a blog post or a glossary that defines some of these terms. Wouldn't it be great to automatically go through your website and link all of those terms to the correct page? So let me just show you how this would work. Let's just activate first simple keyword to link. And we'll take a look at the UI for it, which I believe lives under settings. I don't think it has its own. Is it tools? No, where is it? It's up here. Oh yeah, they put it at the very top, of course, because that's where you'd want it, right? All right, let's just say, we're on a Peter Parker theme today. We have something. All right, let's just say for whatever reason, no, let's do this. Let's make it easier to find. I'm going to see here. front page here, or yeah, we can just use this. Okay. Sorry about that. We'll say Peter Parker is going to link to this product in the store, whatever. Do I want it on all occurrences? Yes. Case sensitive, it doesn't matter if it's case sensitive. It needs to be the full word, the whole thing, Peter Parker. We're going to save that link. Now, what is happening at this point is this plugin is keeping track of all the words that it needs to link to certain places. And what it's going to do is every time a page is loaded, it's going to use jQuery to scan that page as it loads. And if it finds that term, it's going to dynamically add a link to whatever link that you've defined. So here's this post with Peter Parker, and we will refresh the page. And now look, Peter Parker is linked to this page that we just set it to. And it's going to do that everywhere we see Peter Parker. No, not the headline. This is only going to work inside of post content. So you really wouldn't want your header to be, your title to be linked to anything, right? So pre-guessing the question that some of you may have, do you have to keep the plugin active? Yes, because it's the plugin that's making these dynamic links. Will it slow down your page? Elizabeth is mentioning a minuscule fraction of a tidbit, right? Because it's jQuery running, but this is a very quick pre-processing of your content. You know, if you had 100 words, maybe it might slow down in a little bit. But if we're talking, you know, is really this is, let me answer it this way. This is really going to be related to the speed of, I mean, if you're on a good server, then this is not going to take nearly as long because it's going to render it's going to render quickly. If you're on really bad shared hosting, you might have a perceptible slowdown. Yeah. So yeah, minuscule fraction of a tidbit. Yeah, it's very, very teeny tiny little bit. And that is, yes, a technical term. Carla, no, it does not actually change the page. So if we go in here, for example, and here's our right here, if we delete this link, it's gone, right? Or if we deactivated the plugin, it's gone. So it's every time a page is loaded, it's looking for any of those words that you've defined in the plugin settings, and it's going to automatically add that link dynamically to that term. That's how this works. So it's not actually changing the content of the database to add that link. It's doing it as the page renders with jQuery. It used to be that this sort of jQuery back in the day with when servers were much slower and browsers were, you know, internet was, you know, yes, you would potentially see some perceptible speed difference, but these days it's really, you shouldn't, if you're on a good host, see that, you know, perceptible speed changes like that. Anyway, that is simple keyword to link. Questions or comments on that one? Pretty good, pretty useful. Okie dokie. While on the subject of speed, how about, oh, I forgot to change the icon. Doggone it. Well, anyway, this is a plugin called Speed Checker. And what this one does is it's another API key dependent plugin. You'll need to create an API key in the Google Developer Console. And once you do that, make sure it's connected to PageSpeed Insights as one of the services that API key has access to. If you don't know how to do that, you can Google it. There's plenty of articles on how to do it. What this does is automatically check the speed of every single page and post on your website. Like on the inside here, I had this active and running earlier. It does take a while to run, and I haven't looked at this in a few hours, so hopefully it's done now. Under Tools and Speed Checker, so it's going where it's supposed to go, which is awesome. Are we? Nothing is there. That's awesome. I wonder if I accidentally deactivated it earlier. Checking. Of course, when we get on a live webinar, there's going to be some issue, right? This shows that it gives a little thermometer type bar graph right there that shows you your page speed score, both on desktop and on mobile. And probably half of these were done about 2 hours ago. And now none of them show up. That is awesome. I can't tell you how happy I am that this is not showing. Goodness gracious. Oh, yeah. Elizabeth says keyword to link is slowing it down. I don't think that's the case, but, you know, who the heck knows? That is so weird. I don't know why it would have gone away. Maybe I went back in time. It's not loading. Isn't that something? I wonder if something happened to my API key. Nope, it's there. I don't know. I would just put it on your site and run it. It works great. I promise. It's a great little thermometer and it gives you the score. So the takeaway from this is when it works, you'll be able to log on here and you can and you'll be able to see all the page speed of all of your pages right in one spot, which is really, really helpful. And I don't know why all of a sudden it decided not to work, but there it is. That is Speed Checker. Isn't it awesome? It's not the plugin developer's problem. Something on this site. I mean, it was working earlier. I don't know. Okay. We're going to leave that running and come back later, and maybe it's decided to work. All right, next up is a plugin suggested by Ben Bradley right there in the chat. Hello, Ben, and a great recommendation for a cool plugin called RSVP and Event Management. So reading the developer story, this was a plugin that this developer wrote for his own wedding. And he wanted some way within WordPress for people to RSVP to various wedding celebration parts of the wedding celebration, right? And so he created this thing and then made it available. Now, this is a well-known developer, WP Chill. We've done some plugins from them over the years. They are the creators of WP SMTP, which you have perhaps used. Also, the Download Monitor plugin. Pretty nifty. So this is great for all sorts of events where you'd want people to register. Now, where I had a hiccup right at the beginning because I didn't read the documentation. Who reads the documentation? Not me. Anyway, what I couldn't, why isn't this working? Well, by default, the way this Stacy Clements reads the documentation, I read it when something breaks. But the way this plugin works is, and it makes sense, you first upload a list of people that can RSVP. And then you send those people the link and they can RSVP. Now, there is a setting, however, for open registration, which I've given you a link to. They have great documentation on this plugin. It is one of the best documented free plugins that I've seen, and it's quite good. So let's get this activated. RSVP, hello. All right, RSVP is activated. And we go down here. And so you create an event and you can upload a CSV and it gives you the way that this needs to look. Some of these are things that you can change up what questions you're actually asking, but then you just upload it and that's the people that you can allow to register, right? Or you can simply go to settings and go down here and choose allow open registration right there. So that's how that works. Now I have created a page. Let's just get some RSVP, shall we? I've created a page right here for RSVP. It is very generic. I'm going to drop this in the chat. And you can either register as a new attendee, or if you have already RSVP'd, you create a passcode as part of your RSVP, and you can go back in and edit it. So go in there, do this, and we'll get some RSVPs and just make up something fake. So everybody go to that address and submit it, and then we'll get some RSVPs in. Now, all these questions, as you're doing that, are defined right here in the settings where you can change up all of the things you want. If you want to hide it, you can hide it. Stacy, you make up your own passcode. That's the way that if you want to go back and edit your RSVP later, you just simply enter your own passcode. So let's see, have we gotten any? Hey, look. Oh, that was from the other day. Okay, what you need to do is don't do this. This is modify. Click new attendee registration. That'll get you to this page. So here's our current attendees. You can also, this is pretty cool. You can also go in and group people in like a family of people, which is kind of cool. There's a pro version that's coming. Yeah, isn't that cool? So from this, you can export, create custom questions, and so forth. So pretty cool. Yeah, Paul, it's a little hokey. But you can hide some of these questions. You can create your own custom questions. You could actually even send people, you know, if it's an open registration, you want people to register, just send them a link to this page directly. So anyway, pretty cool for a free plugin. There's a pro version that's out there as well. $89 a year that gives you multiple events. The free version only has one. So there you go. All right, moving right along. What do you think about this one? RSVP and event management plugin. If you don't like it, it's Ben's fault. I think it's pretty cool. Let's see if we have any speed check happening. I don't know. Something's broken. There's probably a problem with my API key with Google PageSpeed Insights. I bet I didn't restrict it well enough or something. Google will sometimes, if you don't set up the API key correctly, will go back and flag it and whatever. Anyway, probably some reason, something with my API key. But notice how it discovered every page of the website and so forth. So kind of cool. All right. Anyway, that was RSVP and event management from WP Chill. All right, moving down the list. Now, this is a niche plugin. If you are a block editor aficionado, you really might like this. Chris loves this plugin because what it does is it gives you access to certain dimensions in a block. Certain dimensions in a block. Chris is chatting with me personally right now that are hidden otherwise. So, for example, what you may find is the theme developer or the plugin developer of a particular block doesn't allow margin on this element. And so this is going to let you have access to those settings that were hidden. So I'm going to go in and activate appearance tools. Actually, I should probably just show you something the way it is normally. Let's do that. All right, so I have something set up here. This is just a basic page with a heading and some paragraph text and then an image. Okay. So notice here, we click, we've got our link, we've got our heading. There's some typography settings that are here, which, by the way, if you didn't know you could do this, where you can actually add in things that don't show up already, they're right there. And you've got some dimensions for padding and so forth. So if we activate appearance tools, and let's refresh this page. Right here. Oh, look, now we have the ability to change the link color on this paragraph and only this paragraph from right there. That's kind of cool. Also, we have now the ability to go in and add margin as a dimension. So now not only do we have padding, but we have margin. This is just an example of some of the things you can do. On the image, for example, here, I didn't show you what that looks like otherwise. Let's turn off appearance tools. The images are give you some of the best examples. Yes, Ben, this is Cadence. All right, so here's an image block, and notice how this looks in the block editor. Now, if we activate appearance tools, we're going to get the tabbed effect at the top. And this is just the core image block. All right, now, see, we have a completely different interface where now we have these styling features where we have border, radius, where we can change things around, put a border on the image easier. Now, the Cadence image block does some of these things already, but here, this is in core WordPress now. So essentially what this does is unhide some things that were hidden. Kind of cool. Why are they hidden anyway? I don't know. It's a good question. So that is appearance tools. If you enjoy the block editor, install this plugin and play around with it. I think you might find it interesting. Other questions or comments about this? Oh, Paul. Yeah, can you imagine getting used to this and then going to another site that doesn't have it? Yeah. Sue, can an admin turn off certain choices? Nope. What you see is what you get. I mean, you probably could by modifying code someplace, but not in this plugin. So anyway, that's Appearance Tools by James Roberts, an interesting little add-on for the block editor. While we're talking about block editor, you know, what I was just saying to myself the other day is the one thing that is missing from the block editor are a whole bunch of emojis, don't you think? You know, we need emojis in the block editor, clearly. But I like this one. You know, sometimes, I mean, a well-placed emoji is not bad, right? The way this plugin developer has implemented emojis is interesting. I think you'll find it interesting as well. So let me activate block editor. Oh, it's already active. Block editor emoji. And let's go back to the page I already have set up for that. All right, so watch how this works. If I type a colon, boom, I get smileys. They're just right there. Boom. But if I start to type wave, I get access to whatever emojis that I want. So it's kind of cool. Very easy way to get emojis into into your block editor. So Elizabeth is asking the question, can you just not use colons? Well, sure. You just keep typing. But when you type the colon, it's going to bring up that list. I think it's interesting. If you want to use emojis, it is a great way to add those into the block editor. I mean, look, some blogs are informal and use emojis. There you go. All right. Any questions or comments on that one? That is block editor emoji. I'm sensing the love on this one already from the chat. Clearly, this is going to be the favorite. All right, moving on down to the next one. All right, this is the Snow Monkey editor. And this does some additional, it's another plugin that gives you other things in the block editor. So let's take a look at this, shall we? If you're a block editor person, you might find this very, very interesting, or, not. So we'll activate SnowMonkey Editor, and let me show you what this will do. So with SnowMonkey Editor active, there's a new monkey face right there in your hover, whatever this is called, toolbar. And if we look what we can do. So let's just highlight this and we'll click the monkey face. And we have some options here. We could change just the font size of that word. Oh, look at that. We could change the letter spacing of that word. Isn't that interesting? We could go down and do some other things. Like there's this underline. Highlighting. We can turn it into a badge, which is like this. So it gives us some typography elements here. The other thing it has are these predefined patterns. So so if we highlight this and we go over to right here, let's see, monkey, wait a minute, where is it? Oh, right here. It adds these styles. So look, it could be a post-it, a speech bubble to the right, to the top, to the left, an alert, with remarks, warning. So it has these predefined styles. I think it's kind of interesting. The other thing this does is even if you don't like any of that, yes, Sue, yes, that's this right here. It could be a real problem if a client that was inexperienced got hold of it. But look here. When you have highlighted an element over here in the side, this is interesting. Okay, you have animation options, which is kind of cool. You can change this to display, hide on certain screen sizes. That's kind of cool. We can also say, hide it by role, logged in or not, certain roles. That's kind of cool. But this is also really neat. The publish setting. I want this to appear at a certain date and time. Now, this is on any block. You could also do this to the row. This is over here in the sidebar, so it can be applied to any block, including rows, columns, sections, or headings, so forth. So it can publish at a certain time, or it could unpublish at a certain time. And also, I found this to be very interesting. Lock the block by role. That's kind of cool. So it gives you a lot of different options here, even above this kind of nutty styling options, which still could be fairly useful from time to time. So anyway, that's the SnowMonkey Editor. Questions or comments on that one? Paul, is this all done with CSS? Yes. So let's just take a look at this page. So see, it wraps it in a span that has a predefined class. Many spans. Yeah. All right. Any other questions or comments on the SnowMonkey Editor? We still have several to go. Not awful. Let's move on down to the next one. We have a few WooCommerce plugins to take a look at. The first one is called Visual WP Collections. Now, this is a self-described groundbreaking plugin by the plugin developer. I'm not sure if that's legitimate, but it is pretty cool. So basically, the idea is this. Wouldn't it be neat to easily create a group of products that you predefine and then show those on a page? So here's our collection of everything that's great on our site that would be good for, let's say, Father's Day is coming up, and gifts that are hard for dads that are hard to buy stuff for or whatever, right? And so this is going to let you create your own collections, both manually and dynamically, and then lets you show that anywhere on the site with a short code. So let's go into Visual WP Collections and activate that. Now this lives under WooCommerce settings. Oh no, it's here. It's right there. All right, here's our collections, and we have something predefined. Yes, okay, so here's Chris's picks. And so Chris did some things. And so over here, for example, we can say, I just want to add an individual product. Product title is equal to, find an actual product title. You have some options on how you find these. I guess I have to put the whole title in. Yep, there it is. You can also make things dynamic, like if the category is something or whatever. Kind of neat. And so they have to match all the conditions that are in the list or any of the conditions in the list. That's kind of neat. You have a description that's going to show up right here. And you have a short code to drop this anywhere that you want on the site. So if we go out here and look at the page where this collection lives, you will see this collection. And once I save that, and notice the collection behaves like all of our WooCommerce settings throughout the site. And so with this, for example, you get a slug, or you set up your page and add with a short code is basically what's happening here. This is simply a WordPress page with a short code. Now there's something else going on here with a slug, and this doesn't work right now. And I mentioned that to the developer in the support, plugin support, not been a reply just yet, but it looks like a lot of times what developers will do is they'll put the plugin out there and then gradually fix features and add it as they go and develop live. And what it looks like here is you'll eventually be able to set the slug for what you want this to be. And then, you won't even have to create a page to drop the short code into. You'll just use the slug, and that's where your collection will show up. So there's something I didn't think about. Maybe that was bumping heads with that other URL. No, it doesn't work. It wants to work, but it's not there yet. So it looks like this is something the developer's currently working on. But it's pretty cool. So you could even say, for example, create a red shoe sale collection based on items that are in the category shoes that have the red attribute and are on sale. So you can combine things and have it not only a collection that you hand select particular items for, but also one that dynamically fills based on the settings here. So anyway, pretty cool plugin. If you're a WooCommerce person, this could be a super great way, like if you're doing email marketing and you have products of the month or whatever, to send out a particular page that has this collection that lets people buy things, but you could also track analytics on, for example. So kind of cool. Anyway, that is Visual WP Collections. Any questions or comments on that one before we move on to the next? Getting really short on time today. John, yes, staff picks. Very cool. Okay, moving down. All right, this is one of my favorite plugins of the Roundup. It is 360 Product Viewer for WooCommerce. Now, you've probably seen things like this out there. These sort of 360 views have become very popular, for example, on car buying sites like Carvana, if you're in the States. They're one of the first big companies to use like the 360 rotating view of a car. that sort of thing. This is going to let you do that sort of thing inside of WooCommerce. So let's take a look quickly at the 360 product view. For WooCommerce. And as all of these things are loading, go ahead and get to the product. All right, there's a snazzy blue helmet that's been added. All right, so this works just like our regular product does, but it adds, look, a 360 product view link. And when we click this, we get a modal, and we can drag. Look at that. Oops. So on a phone, you can swipe with this. Pretty nifty. You can also rotate it using the button or animate it like this. Isn't that cool? How, you ask, is this image generated? Right here. Many different images, right? So it's about 30 images in this one. This was a very smooth rotation, so you might not, you could probably get by with half this many images. Yeah, so there's a plus and a minus to this, right? This could be a really good way to sell certain products. Like if you're selling collectibles or whatever, and here's this collectible, and being able to see it in 360 is super important. So yeah, this is a really good thing. And yes, WordPress is going to create all the images, and the image sizes and space is going to be an issue if you're using this. But if this sells more stuff, what does it matter? Right? Like it's a good way to sell product. What happens if you delete some of these? It'll just be a little more jittery. What we just saw, that 30 images, was a very smooth, actually, animation of things. If you had half that many, it would be slight bit of work. So yeah, this is kind of an interesting little tool. The downside being, of course, disk space and so forth. You can, there's settings in there to change frame rate and speed and so forth. It also automatically creates a short code for each of the items. It's kind of neat. You can put that anywhere, like, for example, on a blog post where you're talking about that. It's a sales page for the item, right? Promo blog post. Ben, you have to generate those images, or you have to take pictures. Yeah, for sure. Yes, and there is software that would allow you to put something on a turntable, take a video, and then export that, export keyframes out of that video. So again, this is not for every website, obviously, but in certain cases where a product is going to sell better with a 360 view, like, for example, maybe it's jewelry or something like that. You're going to want a 360 view of something, or a car. This is super cool, and it works really well inside of WooCommerce. So that is 360 product viewer for WooCommerce. Any other questions or comments about that? No, there will be no 360 view of Nathan on the Solid Academy page. Thank you for playing, Paul. No. Again, we want to sell memberships. Okay. Last but certainly not least is a plugin called TinyPress. Now, just the other day on an office hours, how many of you recall me saying, Nathan, you said you would always use redirection for things like shortening URLs and tracking, affiliate links and things like that. You would always use redirection unless there was a good reason not to. Yes, I did exactly say those very words, but I'm going to refer you to the final phrase of that, which is unless there was a reason not to. And this might be a reason not to, okay? Now, I love the redirection plugin by John Godley. I've been using it forever and ever and ever, and it's great. It is reliable. It's rock solid. It just works. This, if all you're doing is affiliate links, this is better, and it's really cool. Let me show you TinyPress. All right, Tiny Press and activate. All right, Tiny Press is going to give us a menu link. All right, and I have set up a link here. Here's what it looks like. All right, solid WP is the label. Here's the target URL. Here's the go link. /go/solid WP. You can change that right here. Make it whatever you want it to be, right? Let's get, by the way, some of y'all click on that, will you? And let's get some analytics going. So just click on that link. It's simply going to take you to solidwp.com. And while you're doing that, let's take a look at some of the other things here. First, does it work or not, right? Active or inactive. So you can toggle on the status of whether this link works right now or not. You can add notes to yourself, because whoever forgets why they added this link, yeah, that's a great little notes section. Details about the redirection. What kind of redirect is it? Is it a sponsored link, which you would need to do if this was an affiliate link? Toggle that on. Is it a no-follow link? Is it a parameter forwarding? So if you're passing on query strings. Security. Look, do you want to password protect that link? Isn't that awesome? Like, you only want certain people. Like, here's the link, but you got to use this password in certain, you know, like if it's for a membership or whatever. Is it going to expire on a certain date? Look at that. And boom, analytics. Let's refresh the page. Well, yeah, we don't have a lot of tracking here, but you have you'll have a bar graph as it's working for time periods, which is kind of cool. Now, also, you can add categories so you can keep links together. It'll show you your most used links. And then, as you all saw here, there's a QR code, which you can just download just like that and put it wherever you want it to go. Isn't that cool? So I really like this. I like it better than Pretty Links. For affiliate links, I like it better than redirection. It's got lots of things. Look, here's, oh, look, it even gives us a location from where some of you are located. There are some additional settings here as well, where you can change that go link to something else if you want. You can view, create, see analytics based on role. This is cool. I didn't look at this earlier. There's extensions where you, oh, it looks like you, I haven't tried this yet, but what it looks like is go to a web page, and with the browser extension, you could create a link. I don't know. That's worth testing. I didn't notice this earlier. So yeah, this is pretty darn good in my opinion. It is called Tiny Press, and yeah, it is pretty good. Paul, so when would you use redirection now that you have this? Okay, great question. Redirection. So I would use tiny links for like affiliate links and things like that. This is made for sharing jump links, like a quick link on your site with a friendly URL that goes to some gigantic, you know, blown, like an Amazon product link that has 8,000 characters in it. That's where I would use this, to make a nice little short link to share someplace or put on a QR code. It'd be great for a general QR code, just like Pretty Links, exactly. Whereas redirection is more for like, I'm moving a site to a new thing and I've got all these URLs to update. I wouldn't try to probably use this for that. Like, I don't think there's, like, you can't import links into this like you can redirection. So it's the same thing, but it's these plugins are built for different purposes. Pretty cool though, right? And thus ends the plugin roundup for June 2023. So we asked the question that we always ask, which is, what was your favorite plugin of the day? One vote only, please, right there in the chat. We're going to use these for the best of, which is 1 week from today. 1 week from today. All right. Dopey Wand, 360, Collection, Snowmonkey. The second AI plugin, Tiny, Appearance Tools, RSVP. Oh, we're all over the place today. My goodness. We are so all over the place today. More votes, please. There's like 5 favorite plugins. Oh my goodness gracious. There is no clear winner today. Wow. Okay, we're gonna have to look at the chat on this one. All right, Chris says it's Snow Monkey and Tiny Press. We always trust Chris with what he says. Okay. Oh, he's actually counting. That's awesome. All right. All right, folks. No webinar tomorrow, but I am back with office hours on Thursday for members. And make sure that you've signed up for the Best of Plugin Roundup, which is next Tuesday, where we'll do January through June. We've had a lot of good plugins over the last several months here. Next week, of course, we start out with Best of, then it's the finances section of the Fly course, and of course, office hours. Now, also, for those of you who are members, don't forget that we have this month's premium course, the local SEO workshop with Trisha Clements. That is coming up on June 27th and 28th. Trisha, all she does is local SEO, helping people get set up and optimized. She solves problems for local SEO using Google Business Profile. And this is what we're going to be covering over those 2 days. The ranking factors for local search, what drives conversions, how to measure, and what might get you suspended on Google Business Profile. And then day 2, she's going to take all the stuff she taught us in day 1 and then teach us how to make money from it, which is awesome. What is the must-have content on your clients' websites, troubleshooting Google reviews, differences in local SEO to focus on, and how to do this on a long term. So this is going to be great. She's awesome. If you've been a WordCamp person, chances are you've seen Trisha. She always has purple hair. She's really a great person and a great teacher, and she'll give a lot of fun, have a lot of fun for us, learning all about Google Local on this event. All right, everybody, that's going to wrap it up for us today. I'm going to drop in one more time the slide bundle right there in the chat. If you didn't download the list of today's plugins, it's there. Make sure that you have also signed up for that town hall meeting with Matt Cromwell and myself toward the end of June. That's June 21st. That link is there in the chat also. Until Thursday for you members, I will see you then. Have a great week, and I'll see you back here for office hours on Thursday on iThemes Training, where we go further together.